the fact that Meet Joe Black clearly is a Jay-Z diss song. I think we may have.
Everybody, why does everybody keep saying that? Do you hear that when you hear that? See, this is what I'm saying. I,
You know,
I
the
hear
only
that.
reason
That's more of
why
a media diss than a Jay diss to me. That's the media that did that. That's not Jay. Hove didn't do that.
I was just about to say, I think the reason why people take it in that way is because the only person that it feels like very one-sided. The only person that is
He could be
continuously
talking
saying,
about is Jay, right?
yeah, it's like the only person that's continuously saying, I'm king, I'm king, I'm king, I am him, I am this and that is Jay. And when anybody refutes that, or not anybody, if Nas says he's king, then people automatically say, this is about Jay. Could be. Could be
Okay,
just
see,
friendly
here's the thing.
competition. Friendly fire.
Here's how I look at it.
Okay, break it down.
Traditionally speaking, when it comes to kings, well, people have to understand this. It's like, well, there was a king of Belgium. You know what I'm saying? It's a king of Spain, king of France, king of England. You get what I'm saying? King of
Mm-hmm.
Zamunda. I'm just joking. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, but to be real, we can go back to Mansa Musa, being the king of Mali. You know what I'm saying? We can go back. We can go back to what's his name? The Chinese ruler that had shit on lock.
I'm listening
Ming,
to you.
Ming Dynasty, the Ming Dynasty.
Right.
Zhao Han. I think I don't know how to say the names properly. I don't want to be disrespectful and not enunciate properly. But it was okay throughout the history of time for kings to exist from different lands. Part of the thing that
Well, Nas did say it's one life, one love, so there can only be one king. So in hip hop, the standard has been
I think
set. It
that's
can
the
only be one
competitive
of us.
standard that's been set is
Yeah.
based on that line. And you're probably right about that. But think about the context of when that's getting said.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Well, we don't really operate under those statutes and circumstances anymore because the crop is different. When Nas is saying that, it's 96. People are just now starting to recognize Andre and Scarface has like top-notch MC. So when he's saying one life, one love, one king, that's a very New York state of mind perspective
I was thinking
from
that.
somebody that's only seen Slick Rick and Kane and Big and him and
Well,
Rakim
I
and
think
KRS.
also
It's very contrived. He's keeping it to about 8 to 10 guys. It's like, well, the game don't operate like that anymore.
I think also it's very generational too, and I think those
Better
guys
to
are
have a king of Brooklyn and a king
those.
of Queens and a king of Long Island and a king of Staten Island. You
Nah,
feel what I'm saying?
it's
The
got
king
to
of
be a
LA.
king in New York, and I think Biggie kind of set that off too, and I think it's generational as well. So it's like they're not gonna go back and forth with somebody from the '80s, or they're not gonna
I
go
mean,
back
here's
and
the
forth
thing
with
though.
somebody like in Kendrick's era. But when it comes to them two, one of them has to be the guy. And you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna just keep it all the way real. I know that Leroy Green is gonna hate me for this. One guy's showing and proving it through music, and the other guy's just talking about it. And I
Okay,
say that
so
respectfully.
no, you are saying it respectfully because I get what you're saying. You're saying one guy's still playing in the league and sitting up here making first team All NBA and winning MVP and like championships still, like at an old ass age.
Yeah.
Like, how about this? You want to know what he just did with Magic? That would have been the equivalent of LeBron having the season that he had last year in like what his 19th, 20th season, like getting 36 and 8. I think what was it, 30 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if he would have done that and actually won the championship.
And
That's
won the
kind of what
MVP.
Magic is.
Yeah.
Well, if the team would have been better and would have been a higher seed, how about this? If that team would have been a top 3 seed, he would have won MVP.
Yeah.
Imagine if he would have done that and they would have went to the playoffs and won a championship. That's kind of what Magic is. And so if you're trying to just make it about those two, I get what you're saying, but it's like, that's why I told you, Mike, it's not a conversation right now until Jay makes an album that's
Straight up.
comparable to KD 1, 2, or Magic.
And not saying he
Like,
can't do it. He's
he
just
needs to
not
at least
doing it.
check one of those boxes, which means you
Yeah.
need to make a 4, a 4.5, or a 5.
I don't see it happening. I'm just gonna be honest. And I can't listen. I'm not just saying that either. But with 444 and Holy Grail in the most recent memory, it's hard for me to believe that it can happen. You know, the Blueprint 3 just
No, because I felt
celebrated.
that way about Nas, and I'm a Nas fan. So it's like that's what I'm telling you. It's like no, it's not fair. It's not fair to Jay to say that that can't happen because as somebody that thought Nas was the best MC of all time before this run, Mike, all this done. I told you all this is done is cement what I felt inside because I've always felt like he was better the entirety of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And but understand, if you're on the other side, you feel the same way about Jay. And the only thing I have to say that is like, no, just give me some evidence so we can continue to have the conversation. Because right now, on my side, I have evidence and you don't. But if you feel like he can make it and will make it and should make it, you should feel that way the same way that I do. Mike, I was going ape shit when I heard Katie. Mike, you have the text messages of me texting you. I'm like, what? I was like, I thought it was over. I was like, I thought Life is Good was the last great piece of work we was going to get out of
We
him.
had no expectations for Katie.
I was okay with Life is Good being the last great piece of work that we were going to get out of him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, this is the thing, man. And the Blueprint 3 just celebrated 13 years the other day. 13 years, man. And that's the last time that we got, you know, a Jay-Z album of the standard of what we're accustomed, what we hold Jay-Z high for. You know, 444 is a cool album. And I think that I'm not a huge fan of it, right? It's not a bad album. It's not one of them albums I'm going to say is a bad album. Oh, let me let Sade know I sent this. It's not an album that I would say is a bad album, but let's just be perfectly honest. If another MC came out with 444, it would just be another album. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be real. Like, we can't just sit here and elevate an album because of who made it. CJ Kid with the super chat says, would you guys ever collect all the albums that got 5 mics and those that got 5 mics later on and rank them from best to worst and do a tournament and let people decide what's the best 5 mic album? I think that's really interesting. I don't like the fact the Source went back and
I don't like the revisit, and they didn't get all the revisits right because they didn't give Liquid Sword 5 mics. I think we got shot.